Hi, friends. In the US, good morning. In India, good evening. It's such a pleasure to connect with so many familiar faces and many new friends and see what we can do in 8 hours over the next 2 months. I thought 10 years ago that the positive psychology, the introspection, using the subconscious, these things will empower us towards a healthier and more optimistic future. My patients have redefined my understanding of positive psychology, how we can empower ourselves in moving forward. All along, I've believed 80% of our individual health is in the individual's hands. Only 20% all the doctors, procedures, pills put together can do. But people are showing in their capacity, they can stop the clock and reverse the clock. Many of them are here today to share their own experience with you. So we'll go ahead and get started with the slides, and let's see if we can see that. Are you able to see my slides? You can show a thumbs up. Excellent. Yes. So February 6th, first session of High Life is the question, who am I? My disclosures are High Life Journey, the website, Seeking Hunger, Cardiac Wellness. This is the real challenge the world is facing. Chronic diseases, non-communicable diseases. Many people have at least one. Unfortunately, majority are now dealing with 2 or more chronic diseases by the time they retire at 65. What are the commonest chronic diseases? You can see it very clearly. The biggest burden comes from heart-related problems like hypertension, cholesterol, coronary artery disease, and kidney disease. And you see dementia and lung disease, depression, heart failure, these things you're seeing there. Things that are not shown here are mental stress that is adding so much challenges, and obesity. We have now recognized last 20 years, obesity itself is a chronic disease on its own without having other medical problems. Why does it not even feature here when half the country is dealing with that? So these are challenges that we are moving through with. And before I go further, I have a friend I would like you to meet. He is Willie Fox. He came to me 2 years ago. And what I'm showing you here is his medical record. So in 2020, when he first came to us, he weighed 156 kilograms. In the y-axis, you see his weight. We published a story as a medical journal because within few months, his heart health improved dramatically. But now it has been 6 months, 1 year, now close to over 2 years now, and he is continuing in this journey towards health. For him, the journey towards health is very closely linked with him successfully managing the extra weight in his body. At 65, when he came to me, he was in a wheelchair and he felt like he was in his 80s. He had been in a hospital for over 2 weeks and his kidneys had failed. He was very close to needing permanent dialysis. His heart was extremely weak. And what we had recommended is a heart catheter and maybe a bypass surgery or stent. He said, Doc, I've tried working with medicines. It's not helping me heal. 2 weeks I've been in the hospital. If you can use your intuitive high life methods and make me a little better, I will take it, but I'm not going to go for the procedures. This is what he said very clearly when he first met me 2 years ago. So I'm going to stop screen share so Willie can unmute himself and share his own experience with us before we move forward. So this is the real answer to the question, who am I? Hi, Willie and Loretta. Thanks for joining us. Can you unmute yourself? We don't hear you yet. We still don't hear you. Nope, we still don't. Does anyone hear them? No, right? We are not able to hear you. So maybe next week, Willie can talk again. I don't know. If it unmutes later at the end of the meeting, that would be good, Willie. We just can't hear you today. I'll share the link maybe for the Paul Pepper TV interview that you did last week, so people can see what really has helped. But definitely we want you to talk to us. Next week, we'll make sure it works. Marilyn, would you like to go ahead? Maybe tell us a little bit about your story so people will know.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you well. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have to start in the beginning because I didn't bring any slides of your story.
Okay, I'll start at the beginning. In 2021, I had been chronically short of breath for almost 15 years. In that time, it got progressively worse to the point that I could not walk very far. I could not stand. I had back trouble, so that made a difference. And then I was forced to move from a place that I'd lived for 4 years. And I moved 3 times in 4 months. And in March, once I moved, I got on a kind of a diet program for ease. And in March, I went to Dr. Chockalingam's course on higher consciousness. And that changed my life. He talked about seeking hunger and how food made such a difference in our lives. And I was skeptical at first about being hungry, but between his smiling 22 times an hour, being grateful every minute of the day, be grateful for what the good things you have, no matter how bad your situation is, and seeking hunger. I've forgotten the 4th thing I had in my mind, but anyway, so I started doing what he recommended. I smiled, and when you smile physically, you get endorphins in your brain, and it makes you feel good, no matter what your situation is. Well, after I followed his program, the High Life program, I became his patient, and he took me off lisinopril, 20 milligrams twice a day, took me off amlodipine, and I have cut down my doxycycline, and I've stopped Monaco-Lesk, and I've had the best year of my life. I honestly, my 80th year, I lost 40 pounds, from 48 to 53 pounds, because it kind of goes up and down. But I can walk, I can walk my dog, I can get out in the yard. Yesterday, I went out with my son and took down Christmas lights. I actually went to Dr. Chockalingam's lecture, where he said I walked, was it half a mile across the hospital and back when I couldn't walk, 100 feet. So just following these 4 simple things: gratitude, hunger, smiling, and Dr. Chock, what's my 4th? I've forgotten it. But I do it. Oh, meditation. That's the super important part. But my whole life is just so much better. Is that okay?
Amazing, Marilyn. Thanks for sharing your story. And I'm so proud of what Marilyn has done. She came with heart failure of 15 years, and doctors had given up hope for her. And now she has lost over 25% of her entire weight at the age of 80. It's not even, we didn't think it's even possible at 80 to lose that much weight. And we are not giving Marilyn a Fitbit and encouraging her to do 10,000 steps a day or anything like that. All of this happens intuitively through her smile that you're seeing here. What she didn't tell you is she's signing up for dance classes too at 81.
Well, and I didn't tell you that I had been to, that my primary care doctor sent me to 7 different specialists. And I also had an echocardiogram. And they said that I had diastolic heart failure, which scared me to death. And and they said, don't worry about it. You know, it's not bad. It's just something you have. And Dr. Chai told me that the reason they didn't tell me what to do for it was because people didn't think that you could do anything for diastolic heart failure. But he said if I lost weight, it would get better. And it has, because I don't have the breathing problem now. Occasionally, if I get a little panicky, I have it, but most of the time I can do things, and it's just changed my whole life. And now I'm 81.
And your seasonal depression.
Yes, I don't have the seasonal affective disorder anymore. Thank you for reminding me, but that's one of the, and we cut my depression medicine in half. I used to get seasonal affective disorder when it was gloomy. And after I'd been on the program, maybe a month or so, one day it was kind of rainy and gloomy outside, and I looked out and I smiled at how pretty it was, and I thought, oh my dear, I'm not depressed. And so we got rid of that too. So obviously I love the man because he's done so much for me, and given me kind of a second family. But I could talk all day, so you have to tell me when to stop.
I think all of us can give Marilyn a big hand. See, you are changing our understanding. I've trained all my life to be a cardiologist, read all the books that are available, but you are teaching me more cardiology than I can learn from any textbook. Thanks so much, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Congrats to her nice speech, which is
Thank you.
inspiration to all the participants, dear.
So we again discussed chronic diseases. I'm going to request everyone to mute yourself so that another 20 minutes will be done and open it up for question answers. So this is the real challenge our modern world is facing, not only in the developed parts, but even low and middle income countries. This is becoming a huge challenge. Marilyn, that you just heard her talk, she had many of these conditions starting to develop. And that's why this type of intuitive lifestyle that she is doing on her own is empowering her, taking her down on her medication requirement, making her biologically 20 years younger. From the age of 80, she is now doing things she did at the age of 60. And if you look at her mental health, we've turned the clock back by 60 years. From the age of 20, she's had depression. So this is all so empowering for all of us. So this is not just Marilyn's story anymore. Today, it is the story of all of us who are gathered here. So we can take this to everybody and get the message to the whole world. Willie will come back. He's here today, but his mic is not working. Next week, he'll come and tell us what magic he has done. So this is what we are going to cover in the next few weeks. This whole program started in our VA as part of the Whole Health Initiative around 2015. 4 times a year, we would gather for 8 weeks with 10 or 20 patients, their husband or wife, some doctors, nurses, dietitians, whoever has some time, we would invite them to walk in Friday, 12 to 1. Now, because of the pandemic, we have moved to the Zoom, and we have 50, 100, 200 people joining us since we are doing it on Zoom, and we're able to record it, and through the year, use this recordings to inspire more people towards empowering their own health. So we talk about reducing risk of heart attack, heart failure, losing extra weight in the body. And we are the first group saying excess weight we can use to our advantage by losing it and helping the heart heal. Reverse aging, we can reduce medicine, sometimes 95%, improved mental resilience. And we teach exercises which are so simple. And Marilyn, I didn't ask her to sign up for dance classes. It's just she has too much energy, too much confidence now compared to how she was living for last 15, 20 years, that she is now signing up for dance classes on her own. So I really believe that exercise should happen naturally. We shouldn't force ourselves into exercising for half an hour just because it is the health benefit. So today we will talk a little bit more about who am I. Next week, what is the real potential of healing? So I think Willie's discussion next week will be very appropriate there. Then we'll go to food habits, how to really intuitively connect with eating, exercise, and we'll talk about the consciousness principles that we use, and real life stories. We'll have so many more people come and share their stories, and we will close it out with where we are. Okay. So this is the costliest disease, heart disease, affecting the United States and the rest of the world actually. 1 in 3 mortality, even in the developing world, is due to cardiovascular illnesses. But the important thing here is 90% of this is lifestyle related. That means we can play a big role in how we take care of our future health. If you look at all the procedures, medicines, tests that you have to undergo at the age of 75, with arthritis and transport challenges and getting appointments in big cities, it looks like a pretty daunting task to take care of our health and moving forward. But the same challenges look so much more easier to deal with when we find a deeper, genuine inner energy. So how to find that energy is what this entire 8-week program is about. We know mental stress contributes to heart disease because it can cause stress, Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. It affects our lifestyle. We choose unhealthy foods. It increases stress hormones in the body, increases clotting inside the blood vessels and risk of heart attack, and increases the atherosclerotic process throughout the body. So mental stress contributes to so many things, but it's so hard for us to gauge this on an individual patient level. This has to be done at a policy level, public health level, and societal level, addressing the lifetime mental health of our communities to reduce heart disease. And this is the other big challenge that is not even featuring in that slide that I shared with you about all the chronic diseases. Obesity was not a deal in the 1960s because 10% of our community in the US had obesity. But now, within the next few years, half of the US population is going to have a body mass index, BMI, over 30. It's not overweight. It's actual obesity itself as a chronic medical condition. It's going to be present in half of the entire US population. So we are talking about the US, but what about in India? For the US or most of the world, men over 40 inches pant size, women over 35 inches waist size is considered metabolic risk. Unfortunately, for people of India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, the risk of heart disease is so much higher. We have 20% of the world population, but 60% of the world's heart disease burden is in India. Because of these reasons, waist circumference of 35 for men and 31 if we are of Indian origin, we have to try to maintain this to reduce our metabolic risk. So this is the ranking of some of the developed countries. Mostly European countries have about 12 to 15% obesity, whereas US is unfortunately head and shoulders above the most of the world in obesity. India does not feature in this diagram, but I added India here. If you look at urban India, the big cities, we are already at US levels. This is the most alarming reality for a developing country. We don't have the Western resources to advance therapy. So what's happening? People are getting unhealthy and losing life so much faster because of the obesity epidemic that India is already facing. And this slide very clearly demonstrates in the last 20 to 30 years, the one condition that has increased so high, number one challenge for India currently is the obesity challenge compared to everything else that's taking Indian lives. Okay, we are talking about an intuitive lifestyle. If you look at medicines, Patients trust their doctors, but at the end of a year or two, most medicines compliance is very, very questionable. People just forget or don't take medicines anymore. What about healthy diets? That's even faster. Within 6 months, most people give up any diet. January is a good time to start. By March, June, people have given up their diets. So medicines compliance is poor. Diets, it's even poorer. What about gym membership, exercise? It's all the same story. So what am I trying to sit here and do to our friends all over the world when we talk about high life? Ours is not a diet or exercise program. Ours is a positive psychology based intuitive lifestyle intervention that not Anand Chokalingam is doing for you. We want you to explore it on your own, in your own time. So I want to be here as your friend at your home every Monday, sitting down with you with this stories and the slides and whatever message I have. But this actual high life journey that you started is 100% your own. It's going to happen on your terms, inside you, and it's going to make changes. So subtle ways, but in profound changes over the next several months. For that, I want you to remember a simple truth. We became human beings because our body needed this much physical activity. 10 miles every day of running and walking combined to just get enough food, to secure our shelter, and just to survive against predators. This is how, compared to our monkey ancestors, we became so physically powerful and two-legged with so much dexterity in our arms. This is such a beautiful biology that we evolved over the last 10 million years. And we've been walking around only for 100 or 150,000 years as human beings. Now, unfortunately, our busy pace of life, sedentary lifestyle, more and more loneliness and stress, and SAD stands for the diet the entire world is taking up. Standard American diet. People in India are lining up in front of fast food restaurants. So this is what is the big challenge that modern society is facing, how to cope with mental stress and excess weight while we try to regain our health from chronic diseases. Meet my friend. I've known him for 17 years since I started here. He's the head of cardiothoracic surgery, Dr. Mark Lee. At the age of 57, he didn't know why he had so much fatigue. Every morning, he's waking up tired, pain all over. When he comes to the patient care and doing critical surgery on opening a patient's heart and fixing them, he's still struggling with his own health. His sleep is interrupted and altogether only a few hours, and he has gastric reflux, and nothing he did seemed to fix him. And he actually felt, I wish my life would slowly go away. At 57, this is our chief of heart surgery. And he did not know that weight was a big deal in his life at this point. And then he now knows, because from 270, he is down to 150 pounds, 45% lighter within a year. And this shirt is something he got in his 20s. He's so proudly fitting back into it for the first time in nearly 40 years. And he is doing several miles of interval training every day, walking, running, doing fitness, and he's genuinely feeling like a 20-year-old. This is a real story, and he went on Paul Pepper with me. So it's all recorded on YouTube. I mean, it's available for anybody to view. I'm happy to share these links. So this is the reality for heart surgery and cardiology and medical doctors and psychiatrists who come to our program. So all of us, doctors, nurses, our communities, our children, we all can wake up to a better and healthier life for ourselves. So that is the message he wants to share with us today. So I took this message to India. Nearly last 20 years, I've lived in the US. I went home to Chennai, India, my hometown, and presented this conference, how we can digitally reduce heart failure. HFpEF means what Marilyn Lake discussed today with us. At 80, for the last 15 to 20 years, she's been dealing with diastolic heart failure, which is also called heart failure with preserved ejection fraction, HFpEF. This, you might think, is a very rare entity that only Marilyn has and Anand helped her Unfortunately, out of 100 heart failure patients, 60 of them have this HFpEF. And many of them, not all of them, I thought until the age of 65, high life can make a huge difference. Until last year, that was my campaign. Now I've taken out that age of 65 because Marilyn came to me and showed me, proved to me that even at 80, heart failure can be reversed. So I cannot thank her enough. And I'm so glad she introduced our High Life 8-week course to you today. Thanks once again, Marilyn, because the people sitting here are the presidents of the American College of Cardiology, American Heart Association, European Society of Cardiology. So these are the thought leaders who are deciding the future, how cardiology should move forward in this challenging post-COVID era. COVID has done a lot of good for our programming because the world is now moving more and more to digital therapeutics, and we have done this for 10 years, taking our intuitive lifestyle to the individuals' homes. And now with more success with our individual level interventions, we want to scale this up to a global reach. One or two more quick patients and then we will stop. This we published as a medical manuscript. This patient has 3 cardiologists, and what you're seeing again is weight. In the y-axis, weight of 100 kilos. And in 2020, this patient, because of the diastolic or heart failure with preserved ejection fraction that we are now primarily focusing on, and that alone can take the rest of my career to try and convince cardiologists that we need to work more with these mindful methods to help people with that condition. The reason is this condition, heart failure with preserved ejection fraction, we cannot do balloon, stent, bypass surgery, heart transplant. We can't even do reimbursable cardiac rehabilitation for these patients in the US, although it is 60% of all heart failure. Why? Because there is no blockage, we cannot do surgery or stent. Heart transplant cannot be done because it's never been done for this condition, because the heart itself is actually squeezing okay. Doing the transplant, that heart also will not be able to cope up. And then rehab is reimbursed by Medicare, Medicaid only if the heart squeeze is below 40%. For people with this diastolic heart failure, the squeeze is normal, so they don't qualify for any of that. What about pills, medicines? We have medicines only if the ejection fraction is low. If the heart squeeze is okay, like in 60% of heart failure patients in the US, there is really no pills that make people improve their longevity. Within 3 to 5 years, there is a risk of losing life. So this is a very serious condition, more malignant than most cancers. And this patient, not only once, she was admitted 15 times to our hospital within 1 year. And when she learned High Life, and this happened in March of 2021, it's nearly 2 years, she has not been admitted even once. So being on all the best medicines, having 3 cardiologists, now in our intuitive lifestyle, it's kept her out of the hospital and doing well. So that is the real power of what we are talking about. So what is the self-inquiry? Someone asked us. All the knowledge that we have accumulated over the last 150,000 years that we pass on to the next generations and makes us more powerful, successful, economic productivity, reason for us to go to schools and advanced education and building skills and habits, all of this is how society progresses. But the self-inquiry is a somewhat different entity altogether. It works in a different plane, I would say. It's about trusting ourselves enough to unlearn, especially for doctors. High Life, I'm going to tell you, is a little harder. But trust us, for 8 weeks, it's going to be fun. For people, we want you to recognize it's okay to unlearn and forget about everything that you have come through in life with. So this is non-transferable. I cannot give this to my son or my daughter. I cannot give it to myself for tomorrow. If I want to be happy tomorrow, I have to practice this. That is what is self-inquiry. And that is the real fulfillment and happiness in life. And that is the genuine resilience and intuitive optimism that comes out of practicing this way of intuitive living, which we call self-inquiry. What do we call self-inquiry? Asking the question, who am I? What is my life about? That is all self-inquiry is. So we can spend plenty of time on that over the next 1 week. So if people come back with some answers to what you have found about yourself by next week, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And my simple request to you is start it like Marilyn has done. She didn't start it with any advanced cardiometabolic interventions that High Life has to offer. She started smiling 20 times every hour. And she started with gratitude. So connect with something that makes you grateful. Okay. We will spend half a minute today in actual self-inquiry practice. So sit back in your chair, as far back in your chair as you can sit back. Let the back be straight and relax your feet on the ground and just sit, relax, and try to think about something that you're so deeply grateful for that if you had to talk about it to me today, unmute yourself and talk about it, then it might leave you in tears. Okay? That it would emotionally move you. Think about something that you're so genuinely grateful for. And let's sit down for half a minute and just stay in that gratitude in silence. So this is our website, High Life Journey. So all the prior programming that we have done in the COVID world, we have recorded and placed it here. Just like Khan Academy, we want to make this type of knowledge available for free for everyone in the world. So that's what this website is about. And Seeking Hunger is the book that is only 30 pages long. It's not available all over the world, but at least US and most of the European countries, it's available. It's on Amazon. And the reason I show this graph is I've known this patient for the last 10, 12 years. And he had a bypass surgery in 2012. And his weight did not change that much, although I've been talking to him about our intuitive eating methods. He would not come to our program because he lives 2.5 hours away. He cannot come every Friday. Then we went online during the pandemic. Even then he wouldn't come because he's not familiar with the computer. Doc, you teach me what I need to do. But whatever I tried to encourage him, it didn't make a difference. But this 30-page book, once he read it, he has now lost 30% of his entire weight at the age of 74. At that age, losing 30% weight translates to becoming 25, 30 years younger. It's not all the time, but for him, that's what it did. So this is so much happiness that he wants to share his story with you. And again, he's not going to come to our Zoom meetings, but he's another amazing friend I've had for the last 10 years, being a cardiologist for him. So before we open it up for question answers, if someone would like to unmute yourself and feel comfortable about sharing what you are so grateful for that it actually nearly moved you to tears, take half a minute to share that with us. 1 or 2 people can do that, and then we'll open it up for question answers.
Yeah. Hello, doctor. Good evening. I'm Purna Chandra Rao from Hyderabad. So thanks for your session. When I had to think for a few seconds of pause, I realized that whenever God gives me problems, He gives a solution within no time. So I feel thankful and gratitude for that.
Beautiful. Thanks so much. Anyone else?
Dr. Chaklingham. Can you hear
Hello?
me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Until I met you and started looking into this and I read Seeking Hunger, I thought I was destined to be dead early. I just thought that was what was going to happen. It's happened to so many other people in my family. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity to make a change. And I'm hoping that other people in my family will also see that if I can do it, then they can do it too.
So glad to hear your thoughts. Do you want to say a little bit more about how long you have been in High Life?
This is my first day. This is my first day. I visited with you this week. I had an appointment, and my name is Kara Harms. I'm from Columbia, Missouri, and I've really just been trying to live life to the fullest with what I could do, but now I realize I can do so much more, and I didn't understand that until I met you. So it's
going to only
exciting
become
to me,
more
and I'm
fun.
very grateful.
I'm so glad you joined us, Kara. And one thing I'd like to
Thank you.
remind you is this High Life is zero effort. So if you're putting any effort to doing what we are asking you to do, then you need to call me. We need to, what should I say, course correct a little bit, so that starting today, the entire experience of High Life, I wish for you to have it effortlessly. So nice you could connect. Who else would like to share quick thoughts of what they were so grateful for today?
Hello. My name is Peggy Neal Lewis. I'm a retired nurse. I am a new patient and am trying to improve the rest of my life and improve my cardiovascular health. Today I am grateful for having 2 hours of reading books with my great nephews. I'm not talking about nephews, I'm talking about great nephews. And we had an absolutely outstanding time Saturday evening doing that. You think that would be a very simple thing to do, but for somebody my age with great nephews, sometimes it's difficult to make those connections in this culture. And so I'm also extremely grateful for the opportunity to find these options that Dr. Chaklingham and his team are offering. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us, Peggy. We'll have fun the next few weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone else wishes to unmute yourself? And we can move on to questions and keep it very brief. So another 15 minutes, we can.
Morning, doctor.
How are you doing?
I'm just up the hall from you, and you know, I visited you a couple weeks ago, and I really think it was a blessing that you and I got to meet that day. I'm on my way out the door if I don't lose weight and get my health under control real soon. I'm 58 years old, going to be 59 next month, and I'm looking forward to going through all this and hoping and praying that it's going to help me and benefit me. And I appreciate the start for today. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, sir.
I'm so glad, Jack. And were you able to connect with the deeper gratitude? We don't want people to just think about it or keep a diary of gratitude. That's great, but this is at an intuitive level. So it's not a thought, it's not even a feeling. It's, I would say, a warmth in your heart. So let that warmth wake you up, or if you wake up anyway, before you get out of the bed, feel that for 10 seconds. That's all is the core of what we want you to explore. In that 10 seconds, what you explore will allow you to smile 20 times throughout every hour.
Well, I'm doing my 20 times an hour and then some. I'm very grateful to have run into you, and that's what I'm really grateful for is the opportunity to tell you my story, and you decided to tell me that you know, I can help you get better. So that's what I'm
Amazing.
looking forward to. And I'm
So
grateful for
you're
that.
already 80% completed. Another 20%, we'll spend another 7 weeks. Okay. Understanding a little more concepts. Excellent.
Hi, Dr. Chokalingam. I'm Tara here, connecting from UK. I'm very grateful that I have come across this course. I have been searching for this kind of a course for a long time. I'm hoping that it will bring my weight down. And thank you so much for this course.
What
Thank
were you
you.
most grateful for, Tara?
To hopefully reduce my weight, I hope.
So you're going to connect your health itself. And
Yeah,
if
that's
that is the specific thing, I'll give you a suggestion. Thank your body for supporting you in this journey that you're starting. Without the
Okay.
support of our body, we cannot accomplish what we want to do. Okay. So
Thank you.
feel grateful for the body for being there for you. And this gratitude will only make it easier for you to follow what Marilyn is showing at 80 she can do, which is being a little more hungry. She didn't go into too much details how she is doing it, but she is comfortable. And you want to say 1 minute, Marilyn? That
About seeking hunger.
yeah, your journey.
Oh, I was so skeptical about that. And it's been major in my weight loss because it's really intermittent fasting. And I think most of us know that you need to go at least 12 hours between what your last meal and your first meal in the morning, if you can. And I was doing that anyway, but now I've been able to extend it to like 13 or 14 hours. And what happens is you get your kidneys cause you to have a bit of ketosis. And a lot of ketosis is bad for you, but a little is helpful because it goes into your body and it uses up the fat.
Marilyn is giving away what we're going to say in the next 7 weeks. I'm just kidding. It's not the kidney, Marilyn, it's the liver. And we don't encourage any ketogenic diet or anything like that. We want you to enjoy whatever food you love. Okay. So that's what the thing is. Excellent, Marilyn. Thanks so much. Anything else you want to say?
Yes. When you're hungry, wait as long as you can, because that also gives you ketones. And the ketones also help you focus. Since I've been seeking hunger, as the book says, I started writing again. I'm a writer, and I've gotten 2 essays published in this last year, and I had basically stopped writing. So that's one of the things that I am very, very grateful for, that I can focus my mind. And that is through this intermittent fasting, which is waiting as long as you can after you're hungry to eat, 15 minutes, 20, an hour. And also when you're full, stop eating, no matter how good it is. Take it home, put it away in the fridge, stop eating when you're full. And that's the part of this seeking hunger. And it really works. And it just has changed my life.
One more hand for Marilyn. Some people had raised their hands. I don't see them anymore.
Okay.
So you can
Yeah.
unmute yourself or raise your hands in the chat box and we'll get you a chance to talk. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, okay, brother Anand Chokalingam. I am
Yes, sir.
Murugan from Chennai. I am really happy and grateful for the only the present moment itself. I don't think of though I have many reasons to be grateful and happy in the past moment. Presently, I am able to have a good health in my body, mind, intellect, and the opportunity to meet people like Anand Chokalingam, who has dedicated his life for the past several years on to make the people live purposefully and healthy life. Today, I am happy. Also, I am grateful to the Almighty. Yeah, around maybe 90 people have been meeting each other because of you and my friend SK Pillai, who have been endeavoring to meet many people over phone to make them get benefit. Really, I'm happy and grateful for the present occasions for this reason. Though I have got many reasons in the past, I search for reasons to be happy instead of searching for reasons to be unhappy. Really glad. I say best wishes. We will listen to you to be healthy, happy, and to live a balanced life. This is more heartful living. Heartful living means balanced living in which we make a peace and happiness within, first inside us. Then we spread happiness and peace outside us. Really glad and thank you, brother. Wonderful, fine.
You could not have said it any better, sir, when you said you are finding it first within yourself before you seek it outside. And so beautifully said. Thanks so much. We all should give you a big hand.
Also, one small book I have come across in my library. அதாவது அகமே புறம். As you are inside, you see outside.
Yes.
அகமே புறம். Thank you, brother. I will give opportunity for others.
What Agame Puram means is how you view yourself is how the world is going to turn out for you. So it's a very, very profound way of looking at things. Instead of saying that is a problem, this is a problem, there is a war going on there, here. Let us settle ourselves first. And that is a beautiful way of empowerment. And Mr. Murugan, he said so nicely that I am first optimistic where I am in the moment. That being in the moment is not easy. For you, you're blessed or you have it's just the way you are. It's not easy for most of the world, but that is what this program is about. In 8 weeks, when Marilyn is hungry, she is in the moment. There is no other way. She cannot worry about the future or think about the past, because that itself becomes that meditation. And now that is why out of that happiness, she is seeking dance classes and other things. So we can do it for school children, allow them to explore themselves. And being in the moment is a beautiful way of saying the answer to where we are. Thanks so much, sir. Ananya Balaji. Is she disappeared again?
Hello, I'm Ananya.
We can't see you, Ananya.
Uncle, I'm really sorry, my video isn't working.
Okay.
So,
Introduce yourself and go ahead.
hello, I'm Ananya. I'm 19 years old and I'm a dental student. So what I'm really thankful for is being a better version of myself, which is this year. So if you don't mind, can I tell a small story? I promise I won't take much of your time.
Sure.
If you don't mind. Okay, so last year, which is 2022, I wasn't the best version of myself because everything what I did was with full guilt. And for example, like if I do something, like I'm a swimmer as well. So if I miss a session in swimming, I'd feel guilty and stressed that, oh, I didn't go for swimming. I'm definitely not going to lose weight. I'm not going to look better. And my timing's going to go away, whatever. So I just had so much guilt, like in whatever I did. So last year, which was in December 2022, Dr. Chokalingam specifically came down to Chennai and did a meeting. And he talked about high life. So I decided to try it out. I was like, okay, fine, let's just give it a shot. I've done many diets in the past and I've tried a lot to lose weight, but it has never affected me physically as well as mentally. So I decided to try this out and I did it for 3 days, and trust me, this was the least I could do. But at the same time, I realized that you know what? I should eat when I'm hungry. And plus, at the same time, it improved my mental health a lot. And I started following this for a long time. It's been like almost 1.5 months. And I've seen a lot of changes in my body and also in my mind. Now I don't do things out of guilt, and I'm doing things what I love. And now I've become a better version of myself in just a short span of time. And I owe great gratitude to you, Uncle. So thank you so much for this. And I'm grateful for it.
Excellent, Ananya. Thanks so much for sharing what journey you are going with and celebrating life. Any quick questions before we close for today? Yeah, I didn't realize we are already nearly an hour.
Well,
Will you all
yeah,
come back next Monday?
Okay, I'm
We have
Rangoli
lots
from
of things we
Chennai.
want to go through.
Yes.
Okay, can I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
Little from philosophical to clinical. Yes, you're telling something about that heart failure and EF, HFP and EF. You said even with the high EF can have heart failure, but that normally clinically they said you have to implant a pacemaker for that purpose. But I don't know, you have shown that graph which is drooping and improving the reducing the heart failure. How was it possible physically to the muscles and other things?
Yes.
Heart
That
muscle.
graph is not a heart failure graph. It's just the weight that I'm showing. Individual patients' weight is coming down because
Yes,
of
bottom.
intuitive living. And
That time
pacemaker also does not make that heart failure get better. When the squeeze is okay, pacemaker or medicines or even bypass surgery does not work. And the problem is more metabolic inflammation and a lot of other things like high blood pressure, kidney issues, atrial fibrillation. A lot of things come into play. But in younger people who have that, which is increasingly a problem, working on mindful eating makes a huge difference. And that I thought up to 65, but Marilyn has proved to us that even at 80, this is possible.
I have one question before we leave.
Uh-huh.
Approximately how much of the weight that you have do you have to, do you have to, but when you lose it, is it 30%, and that's when you can begin to look at removing your medication? Or
that's a beautiful
know?
question, Peggy. The answer is not that clear in science. We are going to build these same high life platforms as digital therapeutics. So 5 years from today, I may have more answers. But for people dealing with already BMI more than 30, 40, for them, when they make a deep cut, like 25 to 40% of their weight, then it has a real potential to not only reverse this diastolic heart failure that Marilyn had, but also it has the potential to reverse many other chronic conditions, diabetes, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, arthritis, depression, so many things we can impact when we go deeper. Pills are there to reduce weight, but my experience is mostly using intuitive lifestyle and natural intuitive ketosis, which is not a ketogenic diet. And people who are normal weight, we can continue to work with them also, but it's not on a Zoom webinar like this that we can work. We need to work individually to see how we can implement these things. So deeper weight reduction in about 20-25%, if that will leave them in a closer to normal BMI for their height and age.
Thank you.
Good morning, doctor. My name is Merrill Smith. I have a question. You mentioned earlier, you emphasized heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. What about those who have not preserved ejection fraction?
So that means either because of a virus, myocarditis, or alcohol, or a lot of times it's because of coronary artery disease and prior heart attacks. The heart squeeze has gradually weakened over years. For them, we haven't really looked at our High Life as a specific tool, but it might help them also if they're dealing with weight issues, but I wouldn't recommend it just on a webinar like this. Okay, you'll have to work with your doctor on that.
Yes, I mean, I have absolutely no weight issues.
Mm-hmm. What do you hope to gain out of High Life?
My ejection fraction would would improve,
Okay.
and I will have more energy.
Okay. If weight is not an issue, then once we are off the meeting, you can email me. I'll put my email address in there and we can chat some more. Or are you based in Colombia?
No, I'm in the West Coast.
Okay. How did you
Oregon.
hear about our program?
Prachi.
Okay.
Prachi.
So she trusts us so much. She's an amazing friend.
Yes, I'm very, very grateful for the friendships and the love that I have received from many, many people.
I just put my email address in there so you can shoot me an email and I'll be happy to talk to you some more, maybe in the next 2-3 days when we can find a common time and work on this and see where we can take this forward. Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent. Sir.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I'm from London, and I'm so grateful to your father, Dr. Chokalingam, who has introduced you to us, to our World Peace and Harmony group. So we are doing meditation for the last 2 years, and I want to have more information from you because you came to our session and you have given us a speech. So I'm so impressed with your speech. So that's what I have come here today. So I'm thankful to you and your father.
We thank you for the amazing service you are doing to society through teaching formal meditation, encouraging people. We do that also. You'll see that in this course. And today also we meditated for 1 minute for gratitude. But there is so much we can all combine and help our societies heal. So thanks so much for joining us today, madam.
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Anand,